Hey guys, welcome back to US Buzz, the place where we dive into the coolest stories, mind-blowing facts, and late-night questions you've always wondered about. If you love learning something new every day, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. The world we live in today is full of languages. Actually, humans speak around 7,000 different languages. That number alone is wild, and what makes it even crazier is that each one of those languages has multiple dialects and ways of speaking. But here's the question. Why do we even have so many languages in the first place? Why can't we all just agree on one universal language and make life easier?
One of the most famous stories people tell is that long ago, all humans spoke just one language. Life was simple. Everyone understood each other. But one day, a group of people decided to build a massive tower that would reach the heavens, known as the Tower of Babel. The story goes that this act of pride angered the heavens, and as a result, people's languages were scrambled. Suddenly, nobody could understand each other anymore, and humanity split into different groups, each speaking a different language. Now, whether or not that story is true is up for debate. Most historians call it more of a myth or legend. But here's what we do know. No language simply popped into existence out of nowhere. Every language we know today evolved from an older one, and those older languages came from something even more ancient. If you trace them far back enough, they all lead to a mother tongue, the original root language from which everything else branched out.
Languages can also be grouped into families. For example, Arabic, Aramaic, Ethiopian, and Chadic are all part of the same family. English, French, Russian, and Hindi, same deal. They all belong to a different family. So yeah, once upon a time, there was one root language. Over time, it branched into families, then into countless languages and dialects. But the real question remains, if humans once spoke a single language, why didn't they just keep using it? The answer? People started to spread out. Populations grew, groups migrated to new lands. Some settled near the Nile, some in China, some in Europe, some in the Americas. And here's where it gets interesting. As each group discovered new things in their environment, they had to come up with names for them.
Let's imagine a funny example. Two friends, Jack and Teddy, start out speaking the same language. But then Jack's family moves far away and Teddy's family settles somewhere else. One day, Jack's family sees a strange striped animal and decides to call it Coco. Meanwhile, Teddy's family sees the same animal in their land and decides to call it Tootie. Years later, Jack and Teddy meet again, and Jack says, "Hey, why are you hitting Coco?" And Teddy yells back, "Coco, this is Tootie." Boom, confusion. Multiply that by thousands of new objects, plants, animals, and inventions over centuries, and suddenly the same language splits into two completely different ones. That's exactly what happened throughout history. People isolated from each other for hundreds or even thousands of years, each creating their own words, pronunciations, and expressions. Over time, the mother tongue faded, replaced by brand new languages.
And here's the kicker. Languages don't just change because of new words. They also evolve naturally within the same community. Take English, for example. If you tried to read Old English texts today, you'd probably think you're reading German or Italian. The language shifted so much over centuries that even native speakers wouldn't recognize it. And the same thing happens in every culture. So yeah, the reason humans speak so many languages today boils down to isolation, creativity, and time. But now you might be thinking, why don't we just invent a single universal language today and agree to use it? Great idea, right? Well, humans have actually tried that over 300 times. The most famous attempt was Esperanto, created about a century ago. It was designed to be super easy and universal, and for a while it really spread. Millions learned it in Europe, Russia, the Americas, even Asia. But after a few years, the hype died down.
Why? Because people simply don't want to give up their native tongue. It's their identity, their history, their culture. And honestly, even if we did manage to create one universal language, guess what would happen? Over time, people would start tweaking it, adding slang, making their own versions, and before you know it, boom, new dialects, then new languages, back to square one. At the end of the day, the dream of a single world language sounds amazing, but in reality, it's almost impossible. For some, it's a lost cause. For others, it's still a dream worth chasing. And that's it for today's episode. If you've ever had a random question keep you up at night, drop it down in the comments. Who knows? It might be the next story we cover. Thanks for watching US Buzz, and don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe. See you in the next one.